I'm going to be going over the NBA slate tonight. We'll do a lineup build, and it's the only sport we have going on. We actually have the bowl games, but we cannot do DFS for the bowl games. Put that game on, see how that's progressing. The other thing I have to do is I have to set up the subscriber channel.
DAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits that.
One sec. Michigan's up 13-7. Pretty low scoring game. And boom. Okay. All right, so there are a couple of spots that I want to go over tonight. We are waiting. I think we're still waiting for confirmation on the Mavericks, right? Let me just see something. Yeah, I mean, all these guys, Luka, Irving, Exum, they all, that's what I'm looking for. They all participated in shoot around. So I guess that means they're likely to play. What's up, K9? What's up, Scott? But we obviously still need to wait on that. And also, it's a later game. So I don't want to overcommit to these early games if we might be able to get some good value out of that Dallas game. So that's one thing. Another thing that we have to wait on, although, I don't think it's that big of a deal, are the starters in the Toronto game. Because, I don't think it matters too much. Whether Quickly is starting or not, I think he's going to be a very, very strong play at 5K. So I don't think that really matters. I guess the only thing that really matters is his ownership. If he's starting at 5K, it's going to be, I have to imagine that ownership just kind of flies. This thing that still eats at me a little bit, this Portland Phoenix business later, okay? Because, you have the two centers, at least by definition, Moses Brown and Agbaji, are both very cheap and nobody's playing them. And the reason for that is because of the way that Portland has used them in the last couple of games. For example, I'll share my screen. And when we look at this, you'll see, Reith is doubtful. Okay, so Reith is doubtful, Ayton is out. So you have these two guys, one's 42 and the other is 35. But what's happened is here Moses Brown played 4 minutes. And even when he started, he only played 14. Okay, but remember, when he played 14 after he started, it was because Duop came on and just dominated. And then you have Agbaji, who played 10 and 14 or whatever. Now, it's notable that one of the games where he played 14 minutes, he did put up 24 fantasy points. So if he gets minutes, it's really, really big. But what they've been doing is going with Jabari Walker, okay, playing 30 and 30, didn't really even need a big in there. But just because they've done that in the last couple of games, or the last game, it doesn't mean they're going to do it again. And if we end up in some situation where either of these guys gets 25 minutes plus, they're just going to smash, So I think that, all projections aside, I think I want to play one of those guys, and I don't even know which one I want to play. They're both under 5% owned. They're so cheap, but I guess I want to do a little research. Or let's do what people smarter than me do. Let's go to Popcorn Machine. Is that what is Popcorn Machine? No, it's Popcorn Machine. Where is it? The basketball. Game flows. Here we go. Let's go to the Portland's last game and see exactly what happened here. Let's see. Portland game flow. Okay, so first of all, so who started? So Moses Brown started. He played 6 minutes and never got back in the game. So how did they handle that? Well, what they did, they brought in Thibault and then Jabari Walker, and Jabari Walker just played all these minutes. That's what they did in this game. Does that mean this is what they're going to do every single time? I don't think so. I think it's very. Let's go to the other game, the other Portland game. This one, and both these you'll know were against San Antonio. Okay, so we're basing our. Well, here we have Moses Brown start. He ended up playing 14 minutes, then disappeared, and then once again it was the Jabari Walker show. Jeremy Grant played 1 million minutes, whatever, and Thibault can. But both of those games were against San Antonio, and I'm not a big expert on this, but I imagine San Antonio didn't really have a traditional big. They had Wembanyama, right? So maybe they needed just faster guys in those two games. So I'm really going to talk myself into this if I'm not careful. I mean, when you look at my sheets, for example, I mean, we'll find these two guys. Moses Brown is all the way down here. He's like 104th on my list with like 2.5x, and then you have the other guy I probably can't even find. The point is that I don't know. Again, this is not what I usually do here. I usually just take the numbers, I run the lineups, and show you what I'm doing. But I just have a feeling that you're just supposed to take a shot with those guys. I will at least err on the side of delaying my lineups, which is what I want to do anyway. Just in case Dallas, news kind of comes in. So it's so that's one bit of business. All right. Let's take a look at anything on the Toronto yet. Let's see. Deshaun Tate is going to start tonight. Eason is come off the bench and have a 25 to 27 minute limit. And that is that bit of information. If anybody gets anything else, just feel free to come on out there. Okay. When you just look at the plays, this is what we're looking at. Again, very similar. You have Beal and Giannis, and you can play Giannis, but it's not as easy as it was earlier in the day for some reason. These other values just aren't quite looking as good. The other thing I'll note, all right, is if you run your lineups and you get, especially on FanDuel, and we'll run lineups in a minute, but if you get a bunch of Kyrie Irving, I am hearing that it's possible that he could be on some kind of minutes limit or with restrictions if he plays. So if you get him and Luka playing, it's going to seem like a decent value at 8,100 on FanDuel, but I just don't know if he's got the ceiling with the minutes limit. And then the other guy who might show up for you, and this is like, again, these are just kind of player takes, that's going to show up for you no matter what you do is Andrew Nembhard. He's just 5K. He's going to play a bunch of minutes as usual. But, he's not a high usage guy. He just doesn't fill up with fantasy points, especially, when Halliburton is there. So you might want to trim back, and that's what I'm going to do. You might want to trim back whatever exposure you get out of Nembhard. So I think that's somewhat reasonable. So again, let's go back again to this board here and just remind ourselves. You have 7:30 Toronto, Cleveland, and then 2 8 o'clocks. Okay. Now there's actually news pending in the Houston game as well. You have Jabari Smith is listed as questionable, and as I just mentioned, Tari Eason is going to start. Deshaun Tate is going to start, and Tari Eason is going to come off the bench with a 25 to 27 minute limit. I'm not playing anybody with a 25 to 27 minute limit. So Eason, regardless of what he shows in my builds, he's going to be eliminated. So the guys that I'm like in danger of are Eason because the minutes limit, Kyrie because of the minutes limit. I'm going to downgrade Nembhard if he shows up, and then I'm going to have to do something with the Moses Brown Nanaji thing or whatever. I don't know exactly how I'm going to handle that, but let's first do a build and see what we can come up with. Okay. Now again, for reference, I'm playing 50 in the MME. I'm playing the Swish, playing a couple of single entries, and I'm playing a satellite. That satellite, I want a seat to the freaking 44 in football. I'm kind of afraid to play it, but whatever. I want a seat to it, so yeah, let's go. So let's upload these projections, and these are as of pretty recently. I don't see any. So I have Beauchamp being out, which is impacting things. By the way, if anybody gets any info on anything, feel free to put it in here. So I'm not watching anything except for this chat right now. So let's rebuild the lineups. We'll build 50. We already, and this is one of the things, the benefits of doing the early look is that when I do my early contest sims, I save the settings. This is one step that you don't have to do when you're under a little more of a time crunch here. As I kind of talk through this, just overall things to remember is that Anthony Simons being out for Portland. That's why those two guards are looking pretty good, both Brogdon and Scoot Henderson. As I mentioned before, Ayton is out as well. So that's why Walker or those two centers, he's going to want to play him. You have Durant out for Phoenix, which is why Bradley Beal is popping pretty hard. He was already going to be a good play, but he's showing up. I certainly am not going to argue with playing Booker as well. He's not going to show up as very well projected, but certainly not a problem there. And also in that Phoenix game, again, the Nurkic is going to look like a good play, especially with Ayton out. I think Nurkic could have a really big game, and which is one of the reasons why I think that Portland's going to play a regular big. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So this is the regular builds with just the Saber score, and what I'm getting here are like 100% Beal, 90% Walker, 80% Giannis. Right. That's what I would be getting when you don't factor in the contest sims. And what I would note is that again, Nembhard's 38%. I'm probably going to pare that down. And then if I was getting any Kyrie, which it does not look like I am. Yeah, I would not be getting any. I would have to pare that down. But let's fire off the contest sims here and see if there's any real difference between what you get from the Saber score listings and what you get from the the contest sims. I have a feeling, as we did earlier today, that we're going to get a big reduction on Giannis's ownership or Giannis's exposure, because it's so easy to get him in that I think that regardless of the ownership projections, I think when people actually build lineups, they're going to be able to get to him a lot more, and I think his ownership is going to come in a little bit higher than what's being projected. So what then will happen is that we'll probably want to fade him somewhat in the in these contests. So as I mentioned, not really. You're getting still 100% Beal in the fadeaway, 66% in the and Giannis. So one thing I want to do is I do want to give myself give a little bit of variance, and let's instead of min uniques 1, let's do min uniques 3. It helps a little bit. You still get almost 100% Beal quickly and all these guys. So what if we did more? What if we did min uniques 4? You're still getting 100% Beal. Okay, so that is what it is. And the good thing about that, remember, is that it's a late game. only getting 26% Nemhart. All right, you're getting 28% Knox, which is not the greatest thing in the world. Okay, but whatever. That I think is fine. I'm not going to manually reduce that. But then what you're getting is only 18% Giannis. So do you think it's probably smart just from using min uniques to reduce your Giannis ownership from 90 down to 18? Probably not. So let's go back and unclick this and go to min uniques 3 and see what we get. And now we're getting 38% Giannis. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay. So we're going to be with the field probably on Giannis, and we're still going to get enough min uniques. For example, if you go back to min uniques 2, then you're getting 20% more of Giannis. Okay. And it's a little more risky. So for me, this is my decision right now is to go min uniques 2 or min uniques 3. Let's go min uniques 3 because that I think 38% Giannis is reasonable. All right. Okay. So let's now put that in the one thing we still have to do. We still have to figure out what to do with this Moses Brown thing. So I think I'm going to do this. And it's a question of how am I going to do it? Should I put like a min 20% or something like that? So the first thing I want to do is I want to make a group. So I was going to make sure to get, I'm not going to get more than one of Moses or the other guy. But what I can do is this. Let's go back into the Phoenix, the Portland thing here. And we're just going to manually change some of these projections. How about that? So let's change Moses Brown to say 15 points. We'll keep his ownership here and we'll make a max of 20%. Okay. I think I'm going to get to him if I put 15%. And then the other one I want to go with is the other center, just in case he's starting, I guess. And that would be Nanaji or Baji. And we'll give him 15 points as well. I currently had him at 0. So 14.5. Let's make it 15. And we'll make it max 20 as well. We'll make him max 20. And these guys are very similar in price. So I could probably swap one out for the other. So let's apply. It's not going to let me keep this, I imagine. Where's Moses? Moses Brown, Baji. Let's rebuild. And this is the way we're going to deal with the Moses Brown thing. Now, again, you guys don't have to do this. You guys really don't have to do this. This is really my instinct. And I can change this. And that's the beauty of playing this way, is that's a 9 o'clock game, and I can completely change my mind. You know, if I don't want to do that, there's plenty of things I can do with these last 3 games to get me off of that idea. And it's not like I'm giving up anything that great in the early games to do this. I'm still going to play quickly. I'm still going to play. I'm just probably not going to be able to play the centers from these early games as much. So I won't get to play Durant, big deal. I won't get to play as much Miles Turner, big deal. Well, I don't know. I think getting to 20% of those guys is worth it. I just don't think that the projection model should just be completely reliant on 2 games, which is really what the deal is. So let's just see what I'm getting, by the way. Let's see if I just leave this, how much Moses Brown I would only get. I wouldn't get any Moses Brown. Let's see. I'm going to have to literally force him in, huh? Yeah, I'm getting. So what we're going to have to do, this, unfortunately. We're going to have to put in minimum 20% Moses Brown. And then worst case, we'll swap him to Abaji. I guess that's what we're going to have to do. We do this, not going to be able to meet exposures, obviously, and then we'll rebuild. And don't bet against me playing Moses Brown or one of those centers in the big buy-in as well. I won't say confident, but I just think it's worth the risk. If I get one of them actually starting, I know I'll at least get 12 minutes, right? And they can get there in 12 minutes if need be. All right, so let's see. Just want to make sure I'm getting what I'm getting. And this is not the way you're really supposed to use SaberSim, but if you have a take, you have to kind of force it in sometimes. So let's see how much brown I'm getting here. Okay, so 20%, which is fine. Let's spin this up again, the contest sim. And then we're going to do FanDuel after this, obviously. And it's probably not the greatest idea to have all three of these guys in the same lineup either. Neesmith, Matherin, Niemhart. So we're going to make a rule to max two of those in a second. Let's first let's see what this looks like in the fadeaway. Okay, Moses Brown getting my 20%. Oh, and these actually don't look bad. The Matherin and Neesmith are fine. I just don't want three of them in the same lineup. So this is good. Let's min uniques. Can we make min uniques 3? Can this work? So we're still having 100% Beal. You go min uniques 2. You have 98% Beal. Min uniques 4. Then you have almost no Giannis, which isn't that bad. Hold on. Am I still getting my Moses Brown here? Still getting my Moses Brown. So it's very interesting, depending on how many min uniques you put in. I think this is what we decided, to be sort of with the field on Giannis. So all the Beal, quickly, Bart, Walker. It's a lot of Durant to have. I don't think it's that critical either way. Yeah, so let's put in min uniques 3, and we'll fire that. I think that's a good idea. And we'll put that in. Well, here's a little trick. Put 55 lineups. This way you don't get dupes. Okay, so let's put all these in the fadeaway. Just like that. And then this is the thing we're gonna do next. We're gonna save something in the swish. I actually like something different in the swish, but we're gonna save something for now. Let's just see what lineup we would get. Just something to save here. And then for I cheat a little bit in that I don't think there's too much difference between the different single entries and the 3 max. So we're going to use the same risk-adjusted ROI. I mean, the same, field size for all 3 of these. It's cheating a little bit, but not that bad. And we're going to put the same thing in all these 3 different types of single entries. And then for the satellite, we're just going to go straight down to projected points, which should be somewhere. Projected score. That's all I need for this. And this one, I don't mind if I've Niemhart, Matherin, whatever it is. This is all perfectly fine. Just wanna. That's all I want in the satellite. And then we will fire this up. The only thing that's going to be different is if there's something where quickly they say it's not going to play that much. So we'll have a little bit of scrounging around. So let me scrounge just a little bit. The other discords, no, nothing really as far as any news on what they're going to do with quickly. And certainly nothing on Dallas yet, which is obviously important. Let me just see the NBA here. Hang on. Jump to present. Yeah, nothing. Everybody's just yapping over here. Okay, so we are waiting on Jabari Smith, and we're waiting on Knicks starters, and we're certainly waiting on Dallas. Aside from that, we're at least ready to go. You know, we're at least locked and loaded, so to speak. Like for example, I'll show you what I was doing in the big buy-in here. This is what I was really interested in. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I think this makes a lot of sense. Is to just pile everything in this late game, you know. And what I meant was, this is what the lineup was earlier. I'm not going to keep it, but just to show you. So it was going to be Quickly, and then Beal over here. And then what I was going to do is something like, I think it was Henderson or Brogdon. I forget. Yeah, I think it was going to be Henderson or Brogdon. And then it was going to be Nurkic. Again, more people from this game. Nurkic, Beal, Henderson, and then I was going to play actually Jeremy Grant. Again, everything to just pile on that late game. And then I had this idea I was going to play, to go with Quickly, I was going to play LeVert. And then I was going to play some forward. I don't think it was necessarily going to be from this late game, but I certainly could. Now, if I was going to save room for this Moses Brown thing, okay, if I just did this, for example, okay, 4,200, then I could play like a really good 8,100 guy over here. Play Markkanen, you know, for example. I could play. There's a lot of things I could do. You know, I could move up to instead of Henderson, I could move up to Brogdon, for example. You know, then do a lot of things in this forward position. Eason, we don't want to play, right? We talked about that. Play Bogdanovic. He's a good play over here in this Houston game, and we can wait on this a little bit. But what this does, it gives me all this Portland and Phoenix stuff for later. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to play. I did play Jeremy Grant over there. So Bogdanovic is a good enough play. So all I'm going to have early is LeVert and Quickly. And I thought that was really good. Now let me go back and see if there's a better small forward now that I've thought about this a little more. Middleton's 71. Markkanen's 8. That looks pretty good. Barnes. You know, so like, for example, that's not a bad idea. If we played Markkanen up here, and then Henderson here instead of Brogdon, right? This all makes sense. We'll save this kind of for now, and see what we're gonna do. Okay, I think that makes sense. All right, so now let's go to FanDuel. Let's see what that looks like. And again, we have to caution ourselves with FanDuel is the Kyrie, because I think we'll end up getting a Kyrie if he plays, but I don't think I want to. So we'll upload here. Beauchamp is out. Again, I don't know. That really isn't affecting things too much. We'll rebuild. And I guess there's no reason why I couldn't do the same thing on FanDuel with Moses Brown, right? But you see that, right? Like when you overwhelmingly play guys late, I could just change my mind on the Moses Brown thing and just play. You know, I could play, like, for example. That's what I was going to do. I was going to play Walker, right? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You could just play Walker here at 5K if I want. Like, if Walker, I could almost get all the way up to Walker. I just have to do a little bit of of shenanigans. As a matter of fact, what you're supposed to do is put brown, I think. Actually, it doesn't make a difference, right? We'll put brown here and Nurkic here because it's going to be the same. Okay, so this is the FanDuel build. And you see some different names here. You know, more Jalen Green, Jashawn Tate, Me Too, right? So let's just run a contest sim here. Oh, but then we have to X out the Kyrie. We have to be. Oh, did I already X out Kyrie? I may have done that already preemptively. Let me see something. Yeah, I already X'd him out. Okay, beautiful. I X'd him out for those purposes. Got a good game going this Bama game. Florida State did not. Well, look, they tanked, right? And then Liberty, you know, what are they going to do? They did everything they were supposed to do until they played a team they couldn't beat. It's pretty easy. All right. All right. So we're playing the shot, which is the MME, and again all the Bradley Beal. But here we get Van Vliet, Gordon, Tate. It looks a little bit different. Okay. So let's change that to say Min Uniques 4, see what that looks like. Okay. This looks pretty reasonable, but still like a lot of Bradley Beal. And this was this the shot that we were doing? Yeah. Okay. So let's save all these to the shot. We also could save them probably to the slam because it's the same thing, but it's pretty much the same contest sim because it's a big field MME. We don't want Eason, right? That's what we said. Okay, so that's the one thing we have to go back to. Sorry, let's go back to Eason, and we want to get rid of all the Eason. We're just not playing. We just can't play anybody out of minutes like this. So if that impacted the shot, yeah, it may have. So let's fix that. And then in the slam, see what that looks like. Yep, more Beal. So this is, listen, if Beal doesn't do well, we're losing. That's just the way it's going to be. Slam. And then the monster, what does that look like? I'm going to probably tweak a little of that on my own here, but the monster, what's it look like? Van Vliet, Beal, Okoro. So he's a guy that I don't really like too much, but you're getting Giannis in this lineup, which is obviously pretty cool to do. So we'll save this for now. All right. So let's now update that. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go back and just make sure that I didn't use Terry Eason by mistake in the DraftKings ones. I just don't remember. I said I was going to knock him out, but I don't know if I actually did. So let's go back. And then again, we're still waiting on that news. And the other thing is that with respect to late swapping and things like that, it's an easy slate. You know, there's only 2 opportunities to do it. You know, one, I mean, small window at 750, but then at like 850, you're probably supposed to do it. Let me just make sure I don't have any Eason here. I think I might. Yeah, I do have. Well, it's only 2 lineups, but you know what? Let's. Why do we need to have 2 lineups? Let's go back to the fadeaway here, that risk-adjusted ROI thing, and let's see how many we had of him. Only 1 lineup. Just 1 lineup. It's not the end of the world, I guess. But you know what? Let's do the right thing. Let's actually take him out. Yeah, and now we'll re-upload these. You never know what lineup would have gotten there if you just did that little bit of extra work. And let's do the slam as well, because you don't know which one it was. Slam. Where did Slam go? Where did my Slam go? Oh, that's not this tournament. I know it wasn't here, and just for the hell of it, we'll just make sure that we didn't have anything in the mid-range jumpers again that had Eason in it. So we'll just do this again, and we know we don't have him in the swish because we just did one by hand, but we got to redo that in a minute. And let's do sort by projected score one more time. And usually at this moment is when someone releases that somebody is out. So let's just see if that's happening. Do I think you're asking, do I think that the Bucks blow out the Pacers? I don't know, maybe sometimes. Could be. Oh, because they beat him in the playoffs in that thing? Sure, possible. Okay. Yeah, I do use risk-adjusted ROI, and I don't really have a big opinion. You don't really get too much difference anyway, I don't think. So I don't mind either way. They're stealing the ball from Giannis narrative. Yeah, I don't know. Sure, why not? So I guess Giannis is gonna have a good game because of that. Sure, why not? Yeah, okay. No, I don't really think so. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I think if they were going to blow them out, they were going to blow them out anyway. I don't think it's because the little children needed to have their ball back or whatever that is. That's a freaking joke. Quickly is starting. That's good news. He's going to be really popular, I think. I think he's going to be really popular. So that's pretty much all that I have. You got to bear with us because I'm going to be doing these solo for the next couple of days. Bobby's gone for like a week, I think. He'll probably poke his head in, and then I'm actually going away on Friday for a few days. So we'll get it all done. The only thing I have to do still is I might make a rule that to not have. I was going to say max 2 Matherin, Neesmith, Nembhard, but maybe I should do max 1. I'm not going to because Matherin's really active. You know, I think Matherin can go with the. But what I could do is max 1 Neesmith and Nembhard because they're pretty low usage guys. They're kind of shot dependent. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do max 1 Neesmith and Nembhard. And listen, you guys are here, so let's show you how we do that. So let's do settings. I could just check to see if I have it in the first place, but then I wouldn't be teaching you anything. Let's do it anyway. So let's see if I have any Neesmiths and Nembhards. Oh, I don't want to lock them. We got time, 7 or 8. So we go Neesmith, and then let's see if there's any Nembhards. Yeah, I got 4 lineups with Nembhard and Neesmith. Actually, this one's with 3 of them. So I actually don't want these. So that's actually good that we're doing this. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do 3 rules. Ready? So lineup rules. Add new rule. And then we're going to put group. And we'll highlight the Pacers so I know what I'm looking at here. So we're going to do max 1 of Neesmith. No more than 1 of Neesmith and Nembhard. Save that. And then we're also going to do a new group. I don't need to do that anyway, right? If I was going to do max 2 of those 3, then that one rule kind of takes that over, right? I can't have all 3 otherwise. So I only need that one rule. I'm just trying to think if I need to do another one with max 1 of all 3 of them. I just don't think so. I think that Matherin could get there with the other two getting there. So this is going to be good enough. So let's rebuild. Why not? Let's just rebuild. I think I have no Eason in this build as well. So we have no Eason. Well, we have no Eason. We have no Kyrie, right? We have Max 1, Neesmith, Nembhard. And we have 20% Moses Brown minimum. So those are the changes that we've made. Now, again, I might go Moses Brown to the other guy if the other guy is starting. I think that's the right thing to do. I honestly do. I'll tell you this: if that doesn't happen, then Walker's like a lock. So I think that one of those three just kind of has to get there. As a matter of fact, that's not the worst rule either to put in. Min 1, Walker, Brown, or the other guy. This one has a Baji in it. Ooh, look at this. So how much do I have of these guys? Let's just see. Baji. Oh, we're just on. Hold on a minute. Ibu. We got 6% of him and 20% of Moses Brown. Ooh, I like this. Okay, so we'll redo the contest sims. How many quickly would you play out of 3? Unfortunately, I think it would be 3. I do. I think that I think it would be 3. I think I would play Beal and Quickly in all 3 of your lineups. That would be the only 2, though. I just think that they're extremely strong. Right. Fadeaway. Risk-adjusted ROI for the 80th time. Min Uniques 4. So Beal, Walker, Quickly, 40% Matherin. All right, I'll live with that. 36% Middleton. Okay. Maybe I'll just look at this Barrett I'm getting. Oh, where'd this come from? Then there's Neesmith, Durant. Okay, this is all good. Let's just make sure I'm getting I didn't think I got any DRCC. Brown, got my 20% Brown. All the Beal, and I got a decent amount of Nurkic. Maybe this is a little bit too much of Matherin, maybe a little too much of Middleton. So, you want to screw around? Sure, let's screw around. Let's make it only 25% Matherin, and let's make it only 25% Middleton. And let's see if he yells at me. That shouldn't yell at me, right? No. Beal, Walker, Quickly, then Durant, Neesmith, Barrett, Smith. Love it. Beautiful. Okay. Let's is Barrett starting? Let's look at that real quick. He's starting as well. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons he's looking good. All right, so last go around here. This is the fadeaway, which you just did. We will put this stuff in the fadeaway. Boom. We're going to go back to the swish. We're going to save something, but we're going to change it. Boom. Swish. Time's it? Oh, plenty of time. Then we'll go back to the. So what this is supposed to be a lesson in is how to use a combination of like your gut, your takes, and the tools at your disposal. Okay. All right, so this putting these in the single entry. Once again, we're going to go back to projected score. Put our projected score one in the satellite. That should be good for DraftKings. Here, let's actually finish up with FanDuel as well. And again, we're not finishing anything. I mean, like if Dallas changes, we're gonna have to deal with that. Any news there, for example? Nope, nothing really. Quickly and RJ starting. That's the only news here. So let's go back into FanDuel. One last run through with that. We'll do the same thing over there. We'll do that same rule with 7:15. Oh, plenty of time. We already have the set everything up there, so let's just do that rule. Lineup rules, add new rule. Group. We're gonna do the Pacers, Neimark, and Neesmith max 1. No more than 1. That looks good. Let's see, we have no Kyrie, I imagine. We have him next. Just make sure we have, and then we'll rerun this. Where's Kyrie? Where's Dallas? Kyrie would be X'd. What about Eason? Eason, is he X'd? All Houston, Eason, he is X'd. Rebuild one last time. Well, it's not one last time because we're going to have to do this all over again once we get the Dallas news. But the only thing I didn't do is I didn't do the Moses Brown here in FanDuel. And I'm really considering like min 1. I mean, I'm going to have either Walker, Brown, or the other guy. Because if those other two don't get there, it's because Walker just dominated. I mean, just took all the 4 or 5. And you can do that in your late swap. I have all this Walker anyway, so what's the difference? All right, so FanDuel. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Let's see what we have. Again, Beal, Van Vliet, same guys we were talking about before. So no difference. Oh, contest sim. What's Michigan doing here? So this is a good game. I don't know why I didn't think it was going to be a good game. I just had this feeling that Bam was gonna wreck them, but I don't know why I thought that. All right, so 13-10, good game. Yeah, I'm not getting, and I'm seeing your question again. I'm not really getting Chris Dunn. He has a shot, I suppose, like anybody else, but all right, they're delaying me a little bit with my contest sims here with FanDuel, tilting me just a tad, but I do have plenty of time. But I'm just waiting for that big Dallas news to come just as I upload everything. Okay, shot here. Once again, we'll make it 55 lineup so I can get my slam lineups going a little bit better. Okay, shot. Oops. Shot over here. And, you've seen, Beal just show up everywhere, and it's going to be the play that's got to work, I guess. But he looked good before. What's his name was ruled out? Durant. I mean, I just got to be kind of close to a lock. No, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, one of them, him or Booker or both, could go off there. All right, Monster saved. All this looks good. Let's download this. All right. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to call this. Hope you guys do well tonight. I'll probably have the same type of schedule tomorrow. And